Welcome to another episode of our Automotive Design Series. In this video, we're going to understand one of the most important topics for any automotive product designer: plastic materials. We will not simply memorize names like PP, ABS, polycarbonate, or nylon. Instead, we will understand where these materials are used, why engineers select them, and what practical factors a designer should consider. By the end of this video, you should be able to look at a plastic automotive component and start thinking about why a particular material may have been selected. Look at a modern car. The bumper is plastic. The door trim is plastic. Electrical connectors, small gears, and even transparent lighting components can also be made from plastics. But here's the important point. They cannot all use the same plastic. A bumper needs impact resistance. A gear needs low friction and good wear resistance. A connector needs electrical and thermal performance. And an optical component needs transparency. So the first lesson is simple. Different components perform different jobs, and therefore they need different material properties. One common mistake is asking, which plastic is the best? In engineering, that question is incomplete. The correct question is, best for what? Before selecting a material, we need to understand the function of the component, its environment, loading, appearance requirements, manufacturing process, and cost. A very strong material may still be the wrong material for a particular application. So remember this simple rule: requirements first, materials second. Before selecting a plastic, ask these 7 questions. First, what temperature will the component experience? Second, what mechanical loads will act on it? Third, does it need to survive impact? Fourth, will it be exposed to moisture, sunlight, oil, fuel, or chemicals? Fifth, how important is appearance? Sixth, how will we manufacture the component? And finally, what are our cost and weight targets? Material selection is basically the process of finding the best balance between all these requirements. We should not over-engineer the part. We need enough performance to safely perform the required function. One useful way to understand automotive plastics is to divide the vehicle into different zones. Exterior components must handle impact, sunlight, weather, and temperature changes. Interior components often focus more on appearance, touch, weight, and cost. Underhood components may experience heat, vibration, oils, and chemicals. Electrical components need insulation and dimensional accuracy. Moving mechanisms need wear resistance and low friction. And optical components need transparency and long-term clarity. So even the location of a component gives us an early indication of what the material needs to survive. Let's start with one of the most widely used plastics in automotive applications: polypropylene, commonly called PP. PP is popular because it offers a very useful balance. It is lightweight, relatively economical, chemically resistant, and suitable for high-volume molding. That makes it attractive for large components, such as door trims, pillar trims, consoles, wheel arch liners, underbody components, and many other applications. But there is something very important to understand. Automotive PP is often not just plain polypropylene. Engineers modify it depending on the performance required. And that takes us to the next slide. When you see the word PP on a drawing, don't assume that every PP material behaves the same way. For example, we may have normal PP, we may have PP with talc or another mineral filler, or we may have glass fiber reinforced PP. For example, PP-TD20 commonly indicates a mineral-filled polypropylene grade. PP-GF30 indicates polypropylene reinforced with approximately 30% glass fiber. Why do this? Because fillers and reinforcement can change stiffness, strength, dimensional behavior, shrinkage, and many other properties. This is why an automotive designer should always check the complete material specification. The material family tells us what it is. The exact grade tells us much more about how it will behave. Now let's use a bumper fascia as a practical example. You might think that making a bumper extremely strong and extremely stiff would automatically make it better, but that is not necessarily true. A bumper fascia needs to handle impacts, temperature changes, sunlight, weather, and large part manufacturing. It also needs an appropriate amount of flexibility. If the material becomes too brittle, it may crack during an impact. If it becomes too flexible, we may face dimensional or appearance problems. This is why impact-modified polypropylene and TPO-type materials are commonly considered for such applications. This gives us an important engineering lesson. Material selection is about balancing properties, not simply maximizing one property. Next, let's talk about ABS. ABS is commonly associated with a useful combination of toughness, moldability, and surface quality. This makes it interesting for many visible interior applications. But here's the important design lesson. A visible automotive component doesn't only need to be mechanically strong. The customer sees and touches these parts every day, so engineers may also evaluate grain quality, gloss, color, scratch performance, dimensional quality, and gap and flush. A component may be technically strong but still look or feel cheap. So for customer-facing parts, appearance itself becomes an engineering requirement. Now let's look at polycarbonate, or PC. One of the most interesting characteristics of polycarbonate is that it can combine transparency with very good impact resistance. That makes it useful for demanding transparent or optical applications. But transparency alone is not enough. An automotive component may also experience heat, sunlight, chemicals, and scratching. Therefore, the final solution may include more than just the base polymer. It could involve UV stabilization, additives, or special surface coatings. This is another useful lesson. Sometimes the final automotive material system is not just plastic. It is plastic plus additives, coating, and manufacturing process working together. Now we have two important transparent plastics, polycarbonate, or PC, and PMMA, which is commonly known as acrylic. So which one is better? Again, the answer is better for what? PC is well known for excellent impact resistance and toughness. PMMA is very attractive when excellent optical clarity and weathering performance are important. So if impact resistance becomes the critical requirement, PC may become more attractive. If optical appearance and long-term weathering dominate the requirement, PMMA may be worth investigating. The purpose of this comparison is not to declare a winner. It is to understand that even two transparent plastics can have very different engineering strengths. Sometimes engineers need a combination of properties that one polymer alone cannot easily provide. That's where polymer blends become interesting. A good example is PC plus ABS. Polycarbonate contributes useful toughness and thermal performance. ABS contributes useful processing and surface characteristics. The resulting PC-ABS blend can provide a balanced combination suitable for many automotive interior and functional applications. But remember something important. We should not think that a blend automatically gives us the perfect properties of both materials. The final grade is specifically engineered to achieve a certain balance. And once again, automotive engineering is all about finding the optimum balance between performance, manufacturing, weight, and cost. Now we move into a more demanding engineering material family, PA6 and PA66. These are polyamides, commonly known as nylon. Polyamides are widely considered when a component needs higher strength, stiffness, thermal capability, and good engineering performance. That is why you may find them in brackets, housings, clips, air management components, electrical parts, and various underhood applications. And very often, polyamide is reinforced with glass fiber. For example, PA66GF30 means polyamide 66 reinforced with approximately 30% glass fiber. The glass fiber can significantly increase stiffness and strength. But reinforcement also brings new design considerations, such as mold flow, fiber orientation, shrinkage, surface quality, and warpage. So both should be considered. Now, let's discuss something extremely important about polyamides. PA6 and PA66 can absorb moisture from the surrounding environment. Why should a CAD designer care? Because moisture can influence the material's dimensions and mechanical behavior. The stiffness can change, the ductility can change, And very precise dimensions or tolerance-sensitive features can also be affected. This means that the properties of a completely dry, molded component may not represent the component after it has been exposed to real operating conditions. So whenever you are working with polyamide, don't look only at the dry material data. Consider the actual environmental and conditioning state of the component. Thank you for watching this introduction to automotive plastics. Remember to subscribe for more insights into the materials that drive modern vehicle design.